Hello guys, welcome back to another video. So today we are with our last assignment of LP3 of subject DA, that is quicksort. And here if I show you the lab manual, as you can see the program is quicksort algorithm, and our objective is to implement the algorithm as well as to analyze the quicksort by using the deterministic as well as the randomized variant. So you all might be aware of what is quicksort, but these two methods, that is the deterministic partition and the randomized partition, I was earlier thinking that there is no need of creating this video because you all are aware of what is quicksort, but some students might be confused with these two terms, that is deterministic partition and randomized partition. So let me help you guys who don't understand these two things. So let's begin. So first of all, quicksort is pretty simple. I'm not gonna explain you the entire algorithm or the how the intuition is and what is the intuition. And so what my job is to make you understand what these two things are and how we're gonna write the program. So I'm gonna make this video as short as possible. So these two terms, that is deterministic partition and randomized partition, over here, as you know that in quicksort we have to sort an array. So let's say we have this array that is 462 567 97 913, and as we know, once we sort this array, the array will look like this: 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 and 9. So this will be your sorted array once we apply this quicksort. And one thing that you need to remember, that the time complexity of the quicksort is big O of n log n, as well as the space complexity is big O of 1. So this is a special thing about quicksort, as quicksort's time complexity is similar to the merge sort, but the difference is the space complexity is constant. So this is the thing that I want you to know, because the external might ask you that what is the difference between the merge sort and the quicksort, and why there is need of quicksort. So now coming back to our main question, that is what is deterministic partition and randomized partition. So as you all know that in quicksort we take a pivot element and we choose a pivot element and we place it at its correct position, and then we there are two rules that that we follow in quicksort. First is we choose a pivot element, okay, and we place it at its correct position. And second rule is all the elements to the left of the pivot should be less than the pivot element, and all the elements to the right of the pivot element should be greater. So this is the entire intuition, or the algorithm, or the quicksort algorithm revolves around these two conditions only. So as well as we don't need to create any separate arrays, as well as we all the only thing that we need to do is we need to play with these two values, that is the low index as well as the high index. Okay, so this was the just the introduction, and now talking about the deterministic partition and randomized partition, which is the main funda of this video. The deterministic partition means that as we select a pivot element, we choose a pivot element. So in case of a, we know that the pivot element can be anything. It can be a starting element, it can be an ending element, or it can be a middle element, or it can be any or it can be any element. That's our choice only. So okay, but in case of deterministic algorithm, we like, if I need to apply quicksort, let's say I choose the pivot as a starting element. Like if I say, so I will say array of low is my pivot element. So in deterministic, we in advance know, or we already know that we have to make this element as our pivot element, and then we apply the quicksort. But in case of randomized, as the name suggests, only random, so over here we are not aware, or we do not choose our own pivot, but instead we use a function, something called this, known as this rand function, which is a random function. And this random function we will apply in our quicksort, and this random function will choose any element of this array as a pivot element, and then based on that we will apply the quicksort. So this is the difference, or the crux of this entire problem statement that you're going to implement. So now without any wasting any much time, let's go to our Visual Studio Code and let's code our this quicksort. Quicksort is very much pretty simple, but the main funda is to implement the quicksort by following these two practices, that is following the deterministic partition and the randomized partition. As the external might ask you to implement this quicksort both using this deterministic partition as well as the randomized partition. So that's why I created this video. So now first of all, from a user, as we have to create a menu driven program, so from the user we have to ask for the size of the array. So I will ask the user to enter the size of the array. So here the user will get, I will ask enter the size of the array. Now I will create a vector, as I need to create an array. So I will create a vector, and now I will create it as menu driven. So for creating it as menu driven, I will say enter 1 to insert elements in the array, enter 2 to perform quicksort using deterministic partition, and enter 3 to perform quicksort using randomized partition. Okay, now I will ask for the option, enter the option, say an option. Now we'll say if option is 1, what we will do, we will simply say uh, first of all I will do array dot resize to n, and then I will ask the user to enter the elements. Okay, so this is okay, we are done with this. Now we have to write our main logic. If option is 3 or option is 4, as well as one more thing, that is we have to display the array. Display ARR by passing the array. Okay, so let's write first this function only, display ARR by passing the array. Now let's write the for loop for I less than array dot size, sorry, I plus plus, then I will write array of I. Okay, so this is done. Now if the option is true, we have to apply quicksort. So let's apply quicksort. We already know we have to pass low, high. So I will pass low as 0, high as this, and I am taking another variable, that is randomized, and this will be a boolean variable. Okay, so over here I will pass it as false. Why I am passing it as false, I will explain you in the later half of this video. Quicksort array 0, this will be n minus 1, and this will be true, this will be n minus 1 only. Okay, now let's write down the code for quicksort. And quicksort, don't worry, I will explain this why we have sent this false and true to our quicksort function. So over here I will pass my vector array low, high, and bool is randomized. Okay, now we know that for quicksort we need to check if the low is less than high, because if the array contains more than one element, then only we apply quicksort. So, and also over here we will check if it is randomized. If it is randomized, then what we need to do, we need to apply, that is, first I will as in quicksort we have to make sure we have a partition index. What I will do, I will say partition index is equal to, if it is randomized, I will say randomized partition. I will call this randomized partition function by passing low and high. Okay, similarly if it is not a, then I will call that deterministic partition by passing array low and high. And after that what I will do, I will quicksort array load p index minus 1 and is randomized. Similarly, we will call it for p index plus 1 till high, and we are done. Now we will create this function. Like this deterministic partition function will be same as what we write for our quicksort, the function that return as the partition index int high. So what I will do, I will create first an I which will be pointing to low, j which will be pointing at high, and then what I will do, I will check. I will first create a pivot, and as I said, in deterministic partition we can choose as we know in advance that which is our pivot element. So I am treating as low as my pivot element. Now I will write the condition while I is less than j and while array of I is less than equal to my pivot element, and while my I is less than equal to high minus 1, what I will do, I will do I plus plus. Similarly, while array of j is greater than my pivot element and j is greater than equal to low plus 1, I will do j plus plus. This you already are familiar with. And then I will check if I is less than j, I will swap array of I with array of j. And what I will do after that, I will do swap array of low with array of j, and then I will return the j. Okay, so this was already, you are already familiar with this. So now talking about the randomized partition, which is the main function over it that we have to understand. So in randomized partition, the same, I will be having an array, the low and the high. But over here, as I said, the pivot element will be a random element. So I will say int random index will be equal to low plus, I will call the random function modulus high minus low plus 1. Why we are doing this? Because I will explain you. And then what I will do, I will do swap array of low with array of random index, and then we will return deterministic partition for LA low and high. So over here, what I have done. So you will say that what I have done over here. So what I have done over here is, for if it is a randomized partition. So as we are expected to write program that both has deterministic partition and randomized partition. Deterministic partition, you are already familiar with what is a deterministic partition, where we can choose pivot as first index as well as the last element as a pivot. Okay, pivot element. So but in randomized partition, we are taking the pivot index from the random function. So this random function will give us the any value, and this random index will be any value that is not known to us. So what I am doing is I am swapping this particular value, whatever value will be there, this will be inside our array only. The pivot will be on pivot element will be inside our array only. So I am swapping this particular array of random, that is means this pivot with the array of low. Why I am swapping this? And then I am returning the deterministic partition by calling this. Why? Because once I swap this array of low with the array of random index, what will happen is this will behave same like deterministic partition, because now once I swap array of random index, now this random index is a pivot element. You already know array of random index is a pivot element. I'm swapping this particular pivot element with the first element. So the first element now is my pivot element. So now I am calling the deterministic partition. Now my first element is my pivot element, and now the same function will be called again, and now similarly the same j I will get at the end. Okay, so I hope you understood it very well. So let's run our program and let's see whether we are getting the right output or not. Okay, so now I am entering my size of an array as 5 and insert element. So I am entering the first element 5 4 3 2 1. Now let's display. So 5 4 3 2 1 is the correct unsorted array. Now let's call second, but before that I just want to make a little modification. Once I call this, and why I have done this quick sort 0 1 n minus 1 and false is because if it is a deterministic partition. In deterministic partition, we don't want any randomized partition to occur. And but in case of a randomized partition, I want random function to call and randomized partition function to call. So that's why I have done over here. So as you can see over here, if it is randomized, then we will call this randomized partition function, this function, and otherwise we will call normal deterministic partition function. Okay, so I hope now you understood it, why I have used this particular boolean flag and set it as false and true. Why I have set it this as false and true? Now let's run our program and let's get oh, I was just about to make one change. I will print array is sorted after applying deterministic partition. Similarly, array is sorted after applying randomized partition. Okay, now let's run it again. Let's give array size is 5. Now I am inserting the element 5 4 3 2 1. Now let's display first. So this is an unsorted array. Now let's apply deterministic first. So okay, there is some mistake. It has gone into an infinite loop. Let me check. While I is less than j, if array of I is less than pivot and I is less than equal to I minus 1, yes, then I plus plus. Over here it should be j minus minus. So this was the mistake that I was doing. Let me run it again. 5 4 3 2 1. Let's display. Let perform this. Now array is sorted after applying deterministic partition. Let's now display. As you can see, our array is sorted. Now let's insert once again the elements 10 9 8 7 6. Now let's display. As you can see, it is an unsorted array. Now let's apply randomized partition and now apply quicksort using randomized partition. I am doing 3 and now as you can see array is sorted. Now let's see. As you can see, our array is sorted 6 7 8 9 10. So this is the entire code and it's pretty simple code. If you have any doubts, you can ask me in the comment section, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Thank you guys.